Welcome to Wayne Allen Root Show.
Good to see you again, man. How's everything going in Viva Las Vegas?
He loves Israel. He loves our country.
I'm always ready to fight, Gary. Always ready to fight.
One of the most popular hosts.
You are my Superman. Thank you.
Thank you.
He's got radio, he got television, he's got a beautiful wife.
We are under invasion at the border.
This is the kind of thing he talks about because he's about common sense.
Make faith and belief in country cool again.
You are truly a breath of fresh air. Your fans love you.
Thank you very much. And they love you too. And for good reason, because you have a spirit and you get it at the same time. You're both angry, but a happy warrior nevertheless. Wayne Allen Root.
I salute you.
Where's Wayne? Where is Wayne Allen Root? Where the hell is he?
All right, welcome to the show, Wayne Allen Root. The Root's on fire. America's top 10 countdown here on RAV, Real America's Voice. You've heard of the mainstream media. Welcome to the Wayne Stream Media. I'm the loudest MAGA mouth in the USA. Coming to you from Vegas, the entertainment capital of the world. I'm the hardest working man in showbiz, certainly conservative showbiz. With the fastest show in the history of TV, this show is conservative patriotic talk on steroids. Reminder, my command central, rootforamerica.com. At the top, 4 tabs. Watch Wayne on TV. Listen to Wayne on the radio. Listen to Wayne's podcast. Watch Wayne's daily podcast. Click and you're on live, or you get links to all the places to watch or listen to me every day, or you can watch or listen to a library of all my recent shows, rootforamerica.com. My email, wayneroot@gmail.com. Email me anytime. Love to hear from you. Love to hear what you think of this show, wayneroot@gmail.com. Also want to remind you about my latest venture. You asked for it, I delivered. I now have a 2-hour video podcast every day, Monday through Friday, called The Root Reaction, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. West Coast time at Rumble. Just type in Wayne Root or Wayne Allen Root or Root Reaction. And at untamednation.com, my show is also live streamed at X and Getter at the top of my pages at Real Wayne Root every single day, Monday through Friday. The Root Reaction from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern. For more information, just go to rootforamerica.com. All right, time for my opening commentary. It is titled, Here's Why Trump Can Never, Ever, Ever Ask for Congressional Approval to Bomb Iran or any other enemy in the future because Congress is full of spies and traitors. Democrats in Congress are angry that President Trump did not brief them or request their approval before bombing Iran's nuclear sites. Now that's funny. How stupid do you think we are? You think we don't know the whole Democrat Party is a corrupt, bribed criminal organization working with our foreign enemies? You think we don't know you've all sold out your souls to the devil? You think we don't know many of you are spies for our worst foreign enemies? You think we don't know you're on the payroll of China, the Chinese Communist Party, Iran, and the Mexican drug cartels? You think we don't know most Democrats' congressional campaigns were funded by Act Blue, which is nothing more than a money laundering clearinghouse for illegal foreign donations? You think we don't know that in addition to being owned by our foreign enemies, many members of Congress on both sides are owned by the CIA, the deep state, the DC swamp, and defense contractors? If President Trump would have confided in Congress and briefed Congress and asked Congress for approval to bomb Iran's nuke sites, he would have been tipping his hand to spies that play for the other side. Iran would have known in 5 minutes flat that American B-2 bombers were on the way to their 3 nuclear sites, and that would have put the lives of American pilots at grave risk. Let's go over the many ways Iran would have been tipped off. First, the low-hanging fruit, the easy stuff, right? Ilhan Omar. Need I say more? Rashida Tlaib, AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Jasmine Crockett, Ayanna Pressley, and the other pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, Jew-hating members of the communist AOC squad would have immediately warned Iran. The squad is a group of evil communist traitors who hate America, want to destroy America, despise Israel, and are in bed with our worst enemies. They are living proof that Joe McCarthy was right. He was just a bit early. But that's just one way that any of America's top secret plans could have been leaked to Iran. That's what communists, that's what Democrats, i.e. communist traitors, do. They leak, just as they leaked many of President Trump's conversations with world leaders in his first term. just as they just days ago leaked the top secret damage assessment of the U.S. attack on Iran to CNN. How about Nancy Pelosi? You trust her? Chuck Schumer, Bernie Sanders, Maxine Waters, Hakeem Jeffries. The list goes on and on. Does anyone trust any of them? Does anyone trust that they aren't on the payroll of our foreign enemies? Does anyone doubt that they would leak advance warning of a U.S. attack on anyone to damage the Trump presidency? What about former presidents? If Trump briefed Obama or Biden, would you trust that they wouldn't tip off our enemies? I believe Obama is cozy with the Muslim Brotherhood and Iran. If not Obama himself, his top aide, Valerie Jarrett, was born in Iran. Those are her best buddies. Those are her blood. I wouldn't trust Valerie Jarrett as far as I could spit. Also, remember the Obama regime handed billions of dollars to Iran on multiple occasions, including pallets of cash. They added up to $1.3 billion on an unmarked cargo plane to fool the American people. The Obama regime also negotiated and signed the first Iran peace treaty, or nuclear treaty, whatever name you want to give it, by giving this pipsqueak rogue terrorist nation everything they wanted and more. We gave them the kitchen sink. What about Joe Biden? Anything you tell Joe goes straight to his handlers, a.k.a. the robo-signers. Who trusts the group that illegally made every decision for Joe Biden? That's the group that opened the border to intentionally destroy our country. That's the group who handed billions of dollars, just like under Obama, to Iran on multiple occasions. Obama and Biden's billions paid to Iran are what paid for terrorism around the world, including the October 7th attack on Israel. The worst attack, by the way, on Jews since the Holocaust. Then there's George Soros. He owns the whole Democrat Party. He owns the whole Democrat Party in Congress. Every Democrat in Congress owes their job to George Soros. I'm betting hundreds of Democrat congresspersons would tip off Soros or his son, Alex, who now runs the show, the minute they stepped out of the briefing with Trump. And once Soros got that advance warning, who believes that Soros wouldn't tip off Iran for the chance to damage both Trump and America? 2 for the price of 1. Then there's China and the CCP. Does anyone doubt for a second China owns most every Democrat in the House and Senate? So the minute Trump briefed Congress, how many senators and congressmen would be on the horn to their handlers in China? So many congresspersons would be calling China. I think the phone system might crash. Anything Trump tells Congress would be leaked straight to China. And who is China's best buddy and ally? Iran. They sell them all their oil. How about the Mexican drug cartels? How many Democrats are owned by them? The cartels make billions per day on the open border, and they pay billions in bribes to Democrats in Congress to fight like mad to keep the border open. And who's the biggest business partner of the cartels? Besides the Democrat Party, of course. China. As soon as the cartels caught wind of the U.S. attack on Iran, they tip off their business partner, China, who makes all the fentanyl. And China would tip off their buddy, Iran. I haven't even gotten to Republicans yet. Do you trust that rhino frauds like Mitch McConnell, also owned by China and the deep state, wouldn't leak a top secret plan to the deep state to hurt Trump? Who doubts that? You're pretty naive if you do. I'm from New York. I trust no one. Finally, I get to defense contractors. They also own most of the bums in Congress. What if a member of Congress tipped off a big defense contractor and the donor, the defense contractor who donated so much money to the Democrat, felt that tipping off Iran would start World War III? Because, of course, if Iran knew we were coming, they might shoot down a B-2, kill our pilots, and World War III is on. And, of course, that would be great for the defense contracting business. Do you doubt that's a possibility? This is all just a start. I could give you 10 more scenarios for who would sell America down the river in a New York minute. That's why Trump could not possibly go to Congress to ask for approval in advance of any attack or any war plans, now or ever. President Trump's only option is to bomb now and ask for forgiveness later. All right, that was my opening commentary for this week. Ahead of us is America's Top 10 Countdown, the Final Four, a great guest, lots of great stuff coming up. But I want to mention this segment of the show sponsored by Energized Health. As a matter of fact, the whole show sponsored by Energized Health. They are the main title sponsor for 3 years now We're coming up fast, by the way, on our 3rd year anniversary. I joined the Energize Health program in November of 2020, and it changed my life and my career. I lost 25 pounds of fat, no weight. I still weigh the exact same amount, but 25 pounds of fat because it changed my whole body around, right? Fat out, muscle in. Lost 25 pounds of fat, gained 10 pounds of muscle in only 88 days to start the program. That was almost 5 years ago. My life has never been the same. I gained energy, intercellular hydration, got in the best shape of my life, and I gained 3 new TV shows past the age of 61, including this one, America's Top 10 Countdown on Rav. I don't think that's ever happened in TV history, and I know why it happened, because the fat melted off my body and my face. I'm now about to turn 64 years old in less than a month, and I look younger now than I did at age 50. There's the photos on the screen. Me at age 50 with Steve Forbes at Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, and me today in the gym about to be 64 years old. It's impossible. I have reversed aged. Energize Health's my fountain of youth, and so I'll be on this program for life. It's simple, it's easy, it's healthy. For decades, Energize Health has transformed the lives of people using the breakthrough science of intercellular hydration. Here's your chance to be like Wayne. Energize Health can change your life and supercharge your health just like it did for me. Right now, Energize Health is offering my fans the WAR 40% off action discount. 40% off, just say WAR, as in W-A-R when you speak to them, or type in WAR. Go to energizedhealth.com. That's energizedhealth.com. And thank you, Energized Health, for sponsoring my show for 3 years now. We'll be right back with America's Top 10 Countdown.
Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Energized Health. Transform your health from the inside out with intercellular hydration.
All right, it's time for America's Top 10 Countdown. The root is on fire. And so's the oil and gas industry, right, under Donald J. Trump. This segment sponsored by Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. It is the second term of President Trump, and it's all about drill, baby, drill, and making America energy independent and making us the energy capital of the world. And this one project could be the centerpiece of that goal. Lost Soldier Oil and Gas has been founded by second-generation oil and gas legend Mark Bruner. His companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value, including his public company, Ultra Petroleum, which went from 15 cents to $200 a share at its peak. Over a 10-year period, a $10,000 investment grew into $13 million. Most amazing stock, maybe in the history of Wall Street. One of them, anyway. Lost Soldier is Mark's newest project. It took 40 years to piece together this 40,000-acre giant gas discovery field. Mark believes it's the last major of its kind, the last basin-centered gas accumulation play that has not been drilled in the United States forevermore. Lost Soldier's giant gas discovery could become as renowned as the Permian Basin. Their plans to install a pipeline connection for immediate cash flow this year and continue to explore and develop the remaining oil and gas over decades to come. Lost Soldier is also planning to go public in the next couple of years. This is the right time, right place, right management team. Every one of their top executives has 40 plus years of experience in oil and gas. And we got the right president, President Trump, who loves oil and gas. If you're an accredited investor and want to learn more about this opportunity, want to figure out how to get involved in this incredible opportunity, go to lostsoldier.com, fill out the contact form, and they will get back to you as soon as possible. Lostsoldier.com, lostsoldier.com. Now we start America's Top 10 right now with number 10. All right, a quick bonus, like a 10A, because this just came in while I was filming this show. Springfield, Ohio residents are cheering President Trump today. He has terminated the temporary protected status of Haitian immigrants. You know what I say is the world's biggest dog lover. My dogs, Bubba and Buddy, are cheering. The dogs and the cats will live in Springfield. I love it. All right, the real number 10 is in my opening commentary, or I'd say the original number 10. I talked about what traitors Democrats have become. They're helping our enemies. They're on the payroll of our enemies. I talked about Obama and Biden paying Iran billions of dollars, which led to terrorism all around the world, plus October 7th, the worst attack on Jews since the Holocaust. Well, rumor has it that Kash Patel has impaneled a grand jury to indict Obama and Biden for funding terror. Rumor has it. Here's the actual verbiage of the rumor. Sources inside the courthouse say that sealed indictments name Barack Obama under 18 U.S.C. 2339B for material support to terror and Joe Biden for conspiracy to violate the International Emergency Economic Powers Act and 2 EU central bank chiefs for aiding and abetting. Is it true? Will it come to pass? If it does, it'll be the #1 story in America and the #1 story some week in the future right here at America's Top 10. But I'm excited just thinking about it. You know it's true. The question is, can we get the indictments? And then can we get the convictions? And what happens next changes the future of America. Countdown number 9. All right, it was a great week for President Trump. How great. I got so many pages here, I'll never get through them all. But lots of Supreme Court victories. I'll discuss all of those victories in the Final Four, but let's look at some other great news. Here's a great one. Here's an economist, one of the top ones in the country. His name is Torsten Slok, chief economist at Apollo Global Management, and he posted a note saying Trump has outsmarted all of us and admits that he bashed President Trump's tariff plan and he was wrong and Trump was right and we're winning with the tariffs and there are no signs of inflation. As a matter of fact, moments after I decided that would be one of the big stories today, the Fed's favorite inflation gauge came out on Friday morning and it shows no signs of tariff price hikes. Then we've got the bombing of the Iran nuclear sites. CNN claimed they had this top secret report from the government, I assume this deep state or the CIA that hates Trump, and they made up lies that we did not do a lot of damage to Iran. CNN is now backtracking and running damage control because President Trump and Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, blew up their story. Of course they did. 12 bunker buster 30,000-pound bombs went right down the chute into their main nuclear site, and you're telling me it didn't cause a lot of damage? Iran's foreign minister actually announced on Friday morning serious damage to the nuclear facilities, which backs up President Trump. Iran's foreign minister. Israel and the CIA announced they agree with Trump that it was almost total destruction of Iran's nuclear capability. Joe Biden's Middle East coordinator praises the Trump team for his handling of the Iranian conflict and says it was the best we could have possibly had. And Trump then spoke at NATO, and everyone at NATO thanked him and congratulated him for the great job he did. So Trump is doing fantastic. He also signed an executive order implementing the U.S.-UK trade deal. And the final story in this number 9, the IRS sheds 26% of their staff as a result of DOGE. 26% of IRS employees are gone. Do you remember Biden wanted to add 85,000 new IRS employees and add $85 billion in spending to come after all of us? Instead, we're cutting 26% of the IRS workforce. Thank you, President Donald J. Trump. God bless you. Countdown number 8. Well, more proof the Democrats are completely insane and they've learned absolutely nothing from their embarrassing popular vote loss and electoral landslide in 2024. As a matter of fact, now they're doubling down. And I'm going to talk about in the Final Four this Democrat primary winner for mayor of New York, Zohan Mamdani. I'll do it in depth there and in detail there. But I just got to tell you a few things. First of all, here's a guy that announced he believes in global intifada. That is literally Muslim domination of the world. It's incredible. And Democrats think he's the right choice. In some ways, I almost hope he does win for mayor of New York in November, because it'll be a test case showing how someone like him, radical, extreme, communist, pro-Hamas, Jew hater, can radically destroy a city inside the United States, and it could spur us to big victories in the midterms and a new presidential victory in 2028. This guy's insane. How do I know he's insane? How do I know we're on the right side? How do I know he's extreme? Black rappers are on our team now. 50 Cent offers Zohran Mamdani a one-way ticket out of New York. He's willing to spend $250,000 to get rid of him and send him out and never come back. And New York real estate brokers say they've been flooded with calls from people looking to flee the city. Florida real estate brokers say they've been flooded with calls from people looking to move to Florida. And last but not least in this segment, in this section, number 9, nearly 200 House Democrats reject a resolution condemning the violent anti-ICE riots in L.A. Do you understand, when the riots come to your town, or Mamdani of the world comes to your town, there's no Democrat that's going to protect you. They won't even condemn riots that showed violence, looting, burning, Mexican flags flying. These people are crazy, and they're not on your side, the American citizen side. Countdown number 7. Democrat insanity part 2. They have a strange obsession, Democrats do, with illegal aliens. They love illegal alien felons and rapists, murderers, gangbangers, drug traffickers. MSNBC's Nicole Wallace admits she was, quote unquote, gutted by gangsters being deported to El Salvador and couldn't stop thinking about their plight. Insanity. Leading Democrat donor, his name is Reid Hoffman. He was the founder of LinkedIn, and he's a huge lawyer with a big law firm. And his law firm is now defending the accused MS-13 human trafficker that was sent to El Salvador. Just incredible. In Denver, the city council ends their car theft tracking system to protect illegal aliens. It's not because they worry about your privacy rights. They just don't want to offend an illegal alien. And then a few stories about illegals. The feds arrest a illegal alien sex offender who dragged an ICE agent with his car. Knife-wielding migrant allegedly attacks a U.S. attorney in Albany, New York. New Jersey police refused to arrest an illegal alien escapee who turned himself in, and an illegal alien child rapist remains at large thanks to an anti-ICE DHS group. Countdown number 6. Teen killer Carmelo Anthony, who is black, indicted on first-degree murder charges for stabbing white teen Austin Metcalf to death in Texas, faces up to life in prison. A black judge had let him out on reduced bail. Carmelo and his family were living it up, living the high life in $1 million home in a gated community with the $400,000 they raised online. Things may be changing for Carmelo. I support justice for Austin Metcalf and his family. This was not only murder, but clearly a racist hate crime. Countdown number 5. What did Clint Eastwood say? The good, the bad, the ugly? Here's the good. Governor Ron DeSantis calls for a complete abolition of property taxes in Florida, calls them part of an unjust system, forcing homeowners to pay rent to the government, and it punishes people for owning their own property. Amen. Let's hope this movement catches on all over the United States. And the bad and the ugly. Project Veritas releases an undercover video, a Connecticut youth pastor and youth director secretly steering young kids towards gender transition and defying their parents. Stay alert and stay vigilant. The pedophiles working for Satan are everywhere. Don't go anywhere. Up next, a great guest that could change your life. And the Final Four, otherwise known as Root Madness. All right, welcome back. The Root's on fire. We got a great guest for you today. Dan Montano is the CEO of Zicha Genesis Medicine. He's making a return visit. We had him on about, I think about 6 or 8 weeks ago, and I got such an overwhelming response. So many of you wanted to know more about Zicha Genesis Medicine, and you wanted to know how to get involved in their trials. And I was overwhelmed with emails. So we brought him back again. So Dan Montano, welcome back to the show.
Having me, and your viewers overwhelmed our phone system last time. We had to get a new phone system.
Well, that's a good thing. I like that. I mean, I think that's wonderful. Although I'm sad that means a lot of our viewers are either sick or someone in their life is sick, or disabled or crippled, whatever word you want to use. I wish that wasn't true, but you have provided a solution for these people and you've provided hope. So that's why they contacted you and that's why they contacted me. So thank you for giving them hope, Dan. Let's discuss the groundbreaking research that your company's working on. You had a massive response last time, primarily for your Parkinson's disease research. Now, it's reported about 1 million Americans suffer from Parkinson's disease, and some of those people are watching my show, or at least they're related to someone with Parkinson's. Give my fans an overview of the research your company is doing into Parkinson's.
So first of all, we believe that Parkinson's disease is caused by an interruption in the blood flows in the brain. Like a stroke causes a disruption, we believe that the vascularization has somehow diminished and therefore blood's not getting to where it needs to go. So we have animal data that shows that when the blood flow in that area of the brain gets down 50%, the people develop the symptoms of Parkinson's. And I'll show you some of those monkey studies in a moment. But what we've done is we've introduced the molecule up the nose into the people's brain, and we have treated over 200 people, of which they're all regenerating. We have people that have gone from wheelchairs to walking. We have people that have gone from shaking to no shakes. And so Parkinson's disease is referred to as a neurodegenerative disease. Well, we've stopped the degeneration, and now we're making it regeneration. Now, next slide, I think, is on the Parkinson's belt.
Yeah, we've got an image with the Parkinson's belt. Let us know what you're seeing in this image.
Okay, this came from a study that said that this is where most of the Parkinson's comes from in the United States. It's agricultural belts. It's where there's a lot of pesticides, insecticides. You notice the San Joaquin Valley. Fresno is the Parkinson's capital of the United States. They spray paraquat on the plants, and people there have a lot of Parkinson's. You can see in that belt, these are the areas where people have a lot of Parkinson's. It's called the Parkinson's belt. And we just think it's important for people to see. Now, people will move from that area to Florida and take their Parkinson's with them. But this is where basically most of it originates from.
Amazing. Pesticides and herbicides are a leading cause, evidently, theoretically, you're finding of Parkinson's, which is very scary thing to find out. Can you share the data from the monkey studies, as you put it? We've got 2 images. Let's put them up on the screen. Motor scores on monkeys and dopamine in monkeys. Please give us a little background what this means.
So you can see on the left-hand one, 4 is normal movement skills. Monkeys were given a toxin, basically paraquat. Paraquat gives you Parkinson's. And you can see the motor skills going down. The blue one is one group of monkeys. The red is another group of monkeys. At the 10-month spot, we dosed half of them with our molecule FGF1, and you can see how their scores are improving, and you can see how the ones that were not dosed have separated. The difference between the blue line and the red line there at 14 months or 17 months is huge. So when we dose people, that is what we see in their motor scores. Next slide, please. What we also do is with monkeys, after you've experimented with them, you can open up their brain and you can take slices of their brain. So this is one of the most important things you'll see. When the monkeys are given Parkinson's disease, the paraquat, you can see that we don't give them our medicine, FGF1. There is no regrowth of neurons in that area. Neurons are in the substantia nigra, meaning they're black, and you can see how they're black in the second one. Between the two, the ones that got FGF, we regenerated new dopamine-producing neurons. So that is evidence, scientific evidence in monkeys that we can regenerate dopamine-producing neurons in the brain. Now, I'd love to have
that's
one of
monkeys. That's monkeys. But let's look at some videos involving humans and talk about the human data that you've got, Dan.
Yeah, but they won't volunteer their brains for us when they get well. Next slide. Here we go.
Actually, next video, right? Next one is a video,
next
isn't it?
video. So this is Bobby Hill. You can see his right hand tremoring. We don't have a follow-up video because he's drinking a bottle of beer, which is not allowed. Here's Lisa walking. You can see her staggering along. This is before she's dosed. Here she is 3 months later at her daughter's wedding. You can see her movement skills are back. Her rhythm isn't, but her movement skills. There's Bobby again. Next slide. Next video, please. Here you can see a woman. Her name is Grace. She's trying to move her hands. She cannot get out of the wheelchair. Here she is 2 years or 18 months later. She can walk now. Now she's holding on to her husband for balance just to make sure, but she's walking. She's gone from wheelchair to walking. That's pretty good. Next one is
pretty
Mark
amazing
Davis.
stuff. Amazing.
Huh? This guy,
Amazing.
look at his right foot. He's trying to lift his right foot. He can barely tap it down there in the corner. He's trying to tap it. This is him 2 years later walking down his own driveway by himself. So this is a miracle. They are regenerating, not degenerating. No one has ever done this with Parkinson's before.
All right, so now we've got a couple more images. How effective is motor score testing at measuring improvement, and are they subjective? And we've got two images. Let's put them up on the screen. Dan, give us some comments.
So this is the brain, measuring the blood flows in the brain from Washington University, St. Louis, one of the world's leading institutions. We've done a functional MR sky to measure the blood flows. We're arguing that blood flows are the problem. Now, if we zoom in on the next one, we'll go to the areas of the substantia nigra, and you can see here, red is lack of blood flow, yellow is more blood flow. Now, this person, his blood flows in his brain increased 21% in 6 months of dosing. He went from being a zombie on the left, where he couldn't remember where he was, to on the right, he was telling us jokes again, and he was remembering the guys in his platoon in Vietnam 50 years ago. So
I mean,
this is,
look, everything you're showing us, Dan, is amazing. What's stopping this from being available to Americans right now?
your FDA, Wayne.
The FDA. So, look, the Trump administration can change all this, right? We got Bobby Kennedy Jr. We got my friend, who is Dr. Oz, right? Dr. Oz in charge of Medicare and Medicaid. Bobby's in charge of the whole HHS. And we've got great people in charge of the CDC now, great people in charge of the NIH, National Institute of Health. You have great hope that all this can change, correct?
I have great hopes, Wayne. That's why I've come to your program, not just because of your friends, but because of your audience. There's a reality that the FDA has made it next to impossible to get through their quagmire. I mean, we're treating people in the British Virgin Islands. We're treating people in the Bahamas. We have been at the FDA for 15 years on our heart medicine. We're struggling with the Parkinson's. They always want something new and different. People are suffering and dying, and the FDA is getting the message slowly, but we're not quite there yet.
Well, we're going to try and get there. But in the meantime, you are treating people outside the United States, as you said, Bahamas, British Virgin Islands, in a clinical trial. For more information and to potentially become a part of a clinical trial, pd.studies.org/war. pd-studies.org/war. And I want you guys to put it up on the screen so the average person sitting at home can see it and write it down. Put on the screen, capital P, capital D, and then it's dash studies.org/war, or just contact me, WayneRoot@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to pass it on to you. That might make it a lot simpler. Or call the following phone number, 702-710-6898, 702-710-6898, to ask for Dan, or contact WayneRoot@gmail.com, and I'll be glad to pass it along. Dan, thank you for all you do. God bless you. Thanks for giving hope to a lot of sick people. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Wayne. Bye-bye.
Coming up next, Final Four time.
This segment of the show is brought to you by GreatPatriotStore.com. Shop for the highest quality American-made products at GreatPatriotStore.com.
It's the Final Four segment, sponsored by GreatPatriotStore.com. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household and personal products you're already buying at your local supermarket or at Amazon or Costco or Walmart. And now you can buy online at GreatPatriotStore.com. But their products are much less expensive, higher quality, made with no toxic chemicals, all made in the USA, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. This is how you beat inflation. GreatPatriotStore.com is not a secret anymore. With over 2 million members and 20,000 American families joining every month, you should too. And they've expanded their beef division. Now you can get great beef products, great steaks, hot dogs, and hamburgers, every kind of steak you can imagine. The beef tastes amazing. It's all pasture-raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever. It's inexpensive and exclusively available only to their members. But you know what that means. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. So don't wait. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form. One of their team members will contact you right away. They're all conservatives and patriots. You'll enjoy talking to them. And in a matter of minutes, you are a member. For a limited time, everyone who becomes a member gets $100 in free store credit. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. All right, time for the Final Four, otherwise known as Root Madness. Countdown number 4. All right, countdown number 4. Some huge news. Okay, so important to saving America. It's right at the top of my list for the problem with America and how do we make America great again. The census. We got to change the way we count Americans in the census. We got to remove the illegals. And once again, President Trump does it. He's poised to remove illegals from the census. This is how Democrats are stealing our country. Too many electoral seats in blue states. That's how they steal the presidency. Too many Democrat seats in Congress, the House and the Senate. That's how they steal Congress. Too much federal funding for blue cities and blue states. That's what's blowing up the debt in this country. If President Trump could get this done, this is huge. And then right in the middle of the show, I get a text. The residents of Springfield, Ohio are cheering today. Trump just announced he's terminating the temporary protected status of Haitian immigrants who now must be deported. The cats and the dogs are safe in America. Countdown number 3. All right, countdown number 3. Let's all celebrate and pray for American hero, border czar Tom Homan. Homan announced this week that ICE has rescued migrant children being sex trafficked to pedophiles. It all happened under Joe Biden, and the rescue's happening under President Donald Trump and border czar Tom Homan. And Homan also announced this week that he lives apart from his wife due to death threats. He's scared for her life and his family's life. He's living separate places from his family. This is what he sacrificed for our country. We pray every day for Tom Homan, our hero. Thank you, Tom. Countdown number 2. And a huge week of winning at the Supreme Court. The week begun with the Supreme Court handing Trump a huge victory. He's now able to deport the worst of the worst out of this country to places like Africa and El Salvador. He's allowed to send them where he wants. And they've only got 30 days to challenge. It was a double victory. And then the Supreme Court ruled on Friday. Nationwide injunctions by district judges exceed congressional authority. It clears the path for Trump to end birthright citizenship. And because of the district judges no longer being able to stop Trump, it clears pretty much everything he needs to do. The judges also ruled at the Supreme Court that parents are allowed to shield their children from gay and transgender books at school. Thank you, United States Supreme Court. Countdown number 1. All right, the moment you've been waiting for. It's time for my number 1 story. We're number 1. It's titled, If Zohran Mamdani Becomes New York City Mayor, Here's What Happens to New York. Get ready for third world crap hole Gaza and no-go zones inside America. I was born and raised a Jewish New Yorker. I graduated from New York's Columbia University, which in those days was mostly Jewish, by the way. I spent my 20s in Manhattan, and I loved New York City. It was my playground. But now the unthinkable has happened. A politician with a combination that I'd never thought possible in America is in position to run New York City. Here's the unthinkable combination. A radical communist and radical Muslim, pro-Hamas, Jew hater has won the Democrat primary for mayor of New York. His name is Zohan Mamdani. Like that name. Kind of reminds me of the old Obama days. Barack Obama as president. Who would have guessed that? There is still hope. He hasn't won yet. He still needs to win the general election. There are two decent candidates for New York City mayor in the general. Mayor Eric Adams, running as an independent, and former founder of the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sliwa, running as a Republican. Remember, New York City is the place where both Giuliani and Bloomberg were elected multiple times as Republican mayors of New York. So, I'd like to think lightning in a bottle can strike again. But this time is much harder. This isn't your father's Democrat Party, nor is this your father's New York City. First, there are very few reasonable Democrat voters left, certainly not in New York. Today's breed of Democrat leaders and voters is a mix of radical, extreme, un-American communist traitors mixed with pro-Hamas, Jew-hating, modern-day Nazis. There's no coming back from this brand of Democrat. It would ruin the city, it would ruin the country. Secondly, the New York City that I grew up in and around no longer exists. Because of open borders and unchecked illegal immigration, New York City is now like a foreign nation. Nowadays, an American-born citizen on the streets of New York City is just a rumor. And many of today's foreign-born New Yorkers are radical Muslims who hate Jews and preach global intifada, which means, let me define it for you, the destruction of America and Israel and Islamic world domination, which includes replacing our U.S. Constitution with Sharia law. You know, people like Zohran Mamdani. Third, Democrats rig and steal elections nowadays between mail-in ballots and no voter ID and illegal aliens given driver's licenses and automatically registered at DMV. Elections in New York are won with voter fraud and non-citizen votes. Lastly, if Eric Adams and Curtis Sliwa both stay in the race, they will split the votes of normal people and elect Mamdani. So the odds are stacked against us. Our best hope is Andrew Cuomo dropping out of the race. He's an independent on the ballot in the general election, if you didn't know that. And President Trump giving a major government job to either Eric Adams or Curtis Sliwa, thereby leaving only one normal, non-insane candidate to beat Mamdani, so the vote isn't split. Other than that, the odds are very high that the Big Apple will soon be rotten to the core, literally infested with worms and maggots and fungus. A Mamdani victory will be the death of New York City in so many ways. Forget that New York City with Mamdani as mayor will become the magnet for every illegal alien in America. Millions will come. Forget that New York City will become a third world crap hole just like Gaza. Forget the city will become infested with no-go zones like those Muslim neighborhoods seen throughout Europe, so dangerous that even the police are afraid to ever go in. Forget that the healthcare system will be overwhelmed and destroyed, and the public schools will be overwhelmed and destroyed. Forget that Mamdani wants to defund the police and ban all guns. Quite a combination to leave the citizens as sitting ducks, completely helpless, like shooting ducks in a barrel, right? Or shooting fish in a barrel. Forget that Mamdani wants to spend taxpayer money on Soviet-style government grocery stores, that worked out well, and transgender surgeries for young boys and girls. But the really big question is, who will be left to pay all the bills? That's the story of me today, right? That's what I'm talking about. Who's left to pay the bills? Forget about all the other stuff. What happens to New York City's tax base when many of the decent people with families to protect and jobs and assets decide to leave? What happens to New York City's tax base when many of the businesses leave? What happens to New York City's tax base when most of Wall Street relocates to Florida and Texas? It's already happening, by the way. Little Wall Street is in Palm Beach, Florida, and Dallas, Texas. It will explode and accelerate if Mamdani is elected. And here's the really big one. Yes, I'm bold enough to go there. I'm going to say it. What happens when most of the Jews in New York leave? New York City has the largest Jewish population of any place in the world outside of Israel. Do you know that? There are more Jews in New York City than Tel Aviv and Jerusalem combined. Did you know that? And they're all going to run for their lives. The Jews are the lawyers and the doctors and the accountants and the stockbrokers and the financial executives and the business owners of New York. If they leave, they take New York's tax base with them. And leaving New York is easy to do. They're not leaving a country. They're not crossing a border. It's easy to relocate to a new state. I did it. I left New York for Las Vegas. It's the best decision I ever made. It's easy to escape New York for Florida. Jews have been doing it for 50 years. And this won't be a trickle of Jews escaping from New York City. This will be like the Exodus out of Egypt. All these people escaping from New York will take billions of dollars in income and assets with them. So who will pay the bills? There'll be no one left to pay for the police, the fire, the teachers, all the welfare, the huge bills to pay for illegal aliens, or the huge hospital bills for the uninsured, which are mostly illegal aliens. Heck, without Jews, hospitals will close because there won't be enough doctors left in New York City. Without tax money to run the New York City government and to pay for all the freebies Mamdani has promised to give out, New York City will look like a cross between Gaza and Mad Max. Remember that movie with Mel Gibson from like 40 years ago, Mad Max? And places like Miami and Palm Beach and Dallas and Houston and Austin and Las Vegas, where I live, and Phoenix and Nashville and Atlanta and Charlotte will gain billions of dollars in income and assets. Also, understand the tourists from Red America will never come back to New York City. Billions more in sales taxes and hotel taxes will be gone. If Mamdani wins in November, God help New York City. Get ready for third world crap hole Gaza and no-go zones inside America. Boy, have New Yorkers forgotten the lessons of 9/11. All right, that's it for this week's show. God bless you. God bless Trump. God bless America. And as always, viva my tax-free Las Vegas. See you next week.
Where is Wayne Allen Root? Where the hell is he?